Today, we are jumping into something huge: why so many businesses, and yeah, maybe even yours, are really struggling to get any real value out of AI. And it turns out the problem usually isn't the technology. It's something, well, it's something much more fundamental.
I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, right? But it cuts directly to the heart of the issue. This isn't about you picking the wrong software or not having the absolute latest, greatest model. No. The problem is way deeper than that. And that is the core of it. Most companies are treating AI like some kind of magic wand. They just wave it at their messy workflows and expect everything to be magically fixed. But that's just a recipe for disappointment. The real secret is understanding what AI actually is. And this is the key concept right here, a force multiplier. The best way to think about it is like a massive amplifier. If you plug a perfectly tuned guitar into it, you get incredible music. But if you plug in a cable that's just buzzing with static, you just get louder static. Well, AI does the exact same thing to your business. And this is what happens when you amplify a system that's already broken. Think about it. If your process is unclear to begin with, AI just helps your team get confused way faster. If your inputs are all over the place, AI will produce what I like to call confident nonsense. And maybe the worst one of all, if your team has bad habits, AI will help you automate those mistakes on a massive, terrifying scale. Okay, so this brings us to the first critical mistake that so many people are making. They get completely obsessed with the tool itself, which leads them to ask the absolute wrong questions from the very beginning. Just look at this. The typical wrong question is, which AI tools should we buy? But the conversation should always start with this. What specific decision are we trying to make better or faster or with less effort? You see the difference? The focus has to be on the task, on the outcome, not the shiny new tool. So the fix is really this simple, but it is so crucial. Define the decision you want to improve before you even start talking about AI. And if you can't clearly state how an AI tool will help with that one specific choice, then you know what? You're probably not ready for it yet. All right, let's get into the second major pitfall. And this one is dangerously common. It's the tendency to just blindly trust whatever the AI spits out. This shows a really critical shift in how you should think about it. Too many people treat AI output like it's a final verdict, handed down from some all-knowing machine. But that's all wrong. The right way to see it is as a first draft. It's a starting point for a human to then review, to refine, and ultimately to take responsibility for. Because when your team treats that AI output as the absolute truth, they skip all these essential steps. There's no validation, nobody challenges the assumptions it made, and nobody adds that crucial human context. They just assume it's correct because, hey, it sounds so confident. And that is a shortcut to making some really serious errors. And the fix here is pretty straightforward. You have to keep a human in the loop. Let the AI do the heavy lifting, let it generate that first pass, but the final say, the final judgment, especially when there are high stakes, like customers or money on the line, that has to come from a person. Now, the third big mistake isn't really about how one person uses AI, but how the entire organization fails to connect the dots. I'm talking about the problem of innovation in silos, these little isolated experiments that honestly just go nowhere. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? You might have one team over here getting amazing results. That's their local value. But without any shared standards, you've got another team over here completely reinventing the wheel, and a third team doing something that totally contradicts the first one. So you get these little pockets of success, but for the company as a whole, it's just global chaos. So the answer isn't to just lock everything down and restrict usage. That kills innovation. The real solution is governance. Think of it less like a cage and more like a trellis for a climbing plant. You're not stopping the growth. You're providing a structure, clear rules, clear ownership that helps that innovation grow in the right direction, all across the entire organization. Okay, so we've walked through the common mistakes and how to fix them. But you know what? They all point back to one single, absolutely essential shift in mindset. And if you can make this shift, it changes everything. This is the old way of thinking. This question frames AI as a simple replacement, something you just offload work onto. It's a passive approach, and it leads to all the problems that we just talked about. And this is the game-changing question. It completely reframes AI as a supporter, as a collaborator. It's a tool that makes us better, that augments our skills instead of just replacing them. It sounds like a small change, but believe me, it leads to profoundly different results. And this table just lays out the difference perfectly.
The old replacement mindset, it just automates your bad habits and replaces real thinking. But the new supporter mindset, it uses AI to sharpen your judgment, to speed up your prep work, and to help you see patterns you might have missed. One just creates noise. The other creates real value. And really, this quote just nails it. Power without structure creates noise, not value. These AI tools are unbelievably powerful, but all that power is useless. It's actually counterproductive if you don't have a smart, structured, and intentional approach to using them. So I want to leave you with that final thought. The big challenge right now isn't about getting more AI into your company, it's about getting the approach right first. So ask yourself, are you setting yourself up to amplify a great process, or are you just about to automate chaos?